We're winning. Pierre Poilievre is actually listening to the people right now. He's listening to the people. He's seen that maybe he made a bit of a boo-boo by advocating for retaliatory tariffs, and now he's doubling down the other way. I'm extremely happy to see this. I've been very persistent, almost like a bit of a mosquito on the conservatives' arm there for the past 7 days, really criticizing Pierre Poilievre and their approach for a retaliatory response. I think that none of us want a trade war. That would be ridiculous. You'd have to be like a sociopath or a liberal to want a trade war. We all want these problems fixed. Fix the borders, fix the drug crisis, because they not only remove the tariffs, but they also help us and our country and our people. So Pierre Poilievre is doing an emergency broadcast right now, and we're going to take a look at it. But before we get into it, yes, I did shave my jihadist beard, and I did get my wife to cut my hair. She's a hairdresser. How does it look, folks? Put some W's in the chat for the wife. We did that yesterday. So thanks for those that have noticed. And before we get into it, though, I do want to encourage you guys to hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't yet already. It does really help grow the channel. We're taking a look at a couple of moments of I told you so, which is just a bit of a humble brag. And then we're going to be taking a look at Pierre Poilievre's emergency broadcast, because I've been saying we should deploy our military to the border, increase border, put millions of dollars into it right now. Hell, dedicate $1 billion instantly to just go and combat that stuff. And now Pierre's finally taking a U-turn approach from we're going to have dollar for dollar retaliatory tariffs to let's just get the job done. So bravo, Pierre. Put some W's down for him as well, because this is a phenomenal approach to having peace and going back to a form of normalcy. So here you go. Here's a post that I made January 20th. So 24 days ago. Canada should not fight back with a trade war. Canada should be focusing on fixing the things that Trump said we should. Want to know why? Because it benefits Canada. If we fix those things and he still wants 25% tariffs on, then we can talk about fighting back. Until then, let's fix our stuff. And there was an overwhelming amount of support on this post. And I mean, you can see here, I have a relatively small account on X, but this got 141,000 views. Pretty big. And then January 26th, so 6 days later, the whole Colombia debacle, right? Today's events with Colombia prove that if you listen to Trump, you won't get the tariffs. In Canada's case, all we have to do is secure our borders properly and we won't get the sauce. If you hear any politicians talk about a retaliatory response, they are acting anti-Canadian or just not in the best interest of Canada. And that was because Pierre Poilievre obviously came out and was supporting retaliatory tariffs, dollar for dollar, even though, yes, he was advocating for getting the job done. If I had it my way, if I was his advisor, it would have been, hey, yo, Pierre, only advocate for getting the job done. Do not mention anything about retaliatory response. He initially didn't take that approach, and it did come back to bite him in the butt. But this morning, you have Pierre announces a plan to secure the border. Step one, send the army to patrol the border immediately. Something I said over a week ago. I'll pat myself on the back right now. Add 2,000 CBSA officers with authority over the entire border, not just crossings. I'll also pat myself on the back right now. Install new high-grade border security technology. I'm just going to take credit for that because I feel like I also said that, so I'm going to pat myself on the back right now. These are phenomenal approaches because what we've just seen this morning is Trump postponed not Canada's tariffs, not China's tariffs, Mexico's tariffs, because Mexico is deploying 10,000 more guards to patrol the border so that they don't have fentanyl and illegals crossing in from Mexico into Canada. And Trump immediately said, this was on a phone call, he said, that's great. Great job, Mexico. We love Mexico. We love Mexicans. We're going to postpone the tariffs for another 30 days. What is our leadership doing? You think you want to get into a trade war, Canada? I don't want that. You don't want that. We don't want to be booing the national anthem. By the way, please avoid that. That's like extremely distasteful. That's like not the Canadian way. We don't want to rip American booze off our shelves. That's freaking insane. That's bananas. What's going on? Our little power hungry, egotistical, maniac politicians are just going, we're going to fight. We're going to hit them where it hurts. We're going to cut off their power. We're going to screw them over. No, stop. Poof. Slap them in the face. Stop doing that. Nobody voted for that. Nobody wants that. We should be doing the things that Pierre Poilievre is now saying, but that Mistersunshinebaby said a week ago, which, by the way, I got to be careful what I say, because in the Jordan Peterson and Pierre Poilievre interview, we got confirmation right from Pierre Poilievre's mouth that part of his morning brief, he gets ready for the work day. He gets briefed on what's going on in the news by his staffers or his employees or whatever. And then he also gets a social media briefing. What are the trends? What are people saying? Here's what we put out, right? We put some stuff out. How did that react? What did people say? What was the consensus? And as somebody with big YouTube channels, I got to be careful of what I say and I guess how I say it, which is something I'm trying to learn. But as you can tell, I just wear t-shirts, man. I don't even have socks on. I did put pants on right before coming on here. I was sitting here in my boxers, but I did actually put pants on because I didn't want to, if I got up, I didn't want you guys to see me in my boxers. But nonetheless, it's awesome to see. Look, I don't know if Pierre got it from my channel or from my posts on X or whatever it is. I'm not actually taking credit for it. I'm just saying I'm glad to see Pierre do a bit more of a U-turn approach. Instead of dollar for dollar tariffs, have the audacity, have the balls to double down on fixing the actual problem, because that is the Canada first approach. That's what's going to benefit Canada and Canadians. And it's freaking, we're back, baby. We're back. That was my most critical point of Pierre. And now he's going the opposite route, which, hey, good job, conservative. Good job, conservatives out there that are, monitoring social media and providing Pierre with briefings, because I feel like this is the way. I'm very, very happy to see this. But now let's get into Pierre Poilievre's speech. He's doing a speech right now, and it's awesome to see quite a few people hop into this stream instead of watching it on Global or something like that. But we're going to hear right from Pierre say it. He's going to say all the things that I just said that he said. All right. You're going to hear it right from his mouth. This is happening live right now. We're a couple minutes behind, but it's happening live. Here we go.
Much. And now in English. Borders. They are the protective arms wrapped around our people and our land to stop foreign threats and protect against enemies. They mark our place and stake out our ground as a people and country. But in 9 years, the NDP Liberals have lost control of our borders, letting drugs, guns, and terrorists threaten our people. Part is incompetence, but part is the radical Liberal agenda, a borderless, globalist, post-national agenda. Post-national is the word that Justin Trudeau used. All of this done with the advice and support of his top economic advisor, Mark Carney, who calls himself a European. And here are the facts. Fact, after 9 years of Liberals, gun-related crime is up 116%, with the Toronto Police Association saying that 85% of gun offenses use illegal firearms from the United States. Fact, the Liberal government only inspects 1% of shipping containers coming into our country, allowing drugs and guns to sneak through the other 99%. Fact, the Liberals let multiple ISIS terrorists enter into Canada, including a man who was allegedly filmed cutting up a human body on a crucifix in the Middle East. The same man is now charged for planning a terrorist attack in Canada.
So, by the way, right, when we're comparing apples to apples here, when we stack up Canada's issues with fentanyl versus Mexico's issues with fentanyl, what's been comped by the American Border Services is only 19 kilograms coming in from Canada. That's a lot. Don't get me wrong. 1 kilogram is too much. Of course. From Mexico, it's 9,000. You're comparing 19 to 9,000. It's like crazy to bunch us in together. So there's a lot of people that are saying, this isn't about fentanyl. This isn't about fentanyl at all. And people are saying it's not about the border. Canada has good borders. It actually is about the borders. And specifically, it's about terrorists, okay? The amount of people that have been caught, like if you're going to listen to anything today, make sure it's this, all right? Make sure it's this. Clip this, quote it, whatever you want. The amount of people that showed up at the United States border that were caught by border services that are on a terrorist watch list is over 350 people from Canada into America. Over 350 people, not that like committed petty crime, not that stole a car, on actual terrorist watch lists. Okay, like the Saddam Husseins that are hiding in caves, plotting a massive bomb to go off. Those dudes, the bad dudes that people bomb overseas. All right, over 350 of them have been caught. You don't know how many from Mexico? Around 100. Okay, sure. 100 to 350, it's not that big of a gap, but that's over double. And we can all agree that one terrorist is too much. One terrorist is too much. So when people say that, hey, look, it's not about the border, blah, blah, blah. Yo, it is. I don't know how to say this. We all know our immigration is just absolutely atrocious. The Saddam Husseins out there in the world can say, we want to come to Canada. Canada says, okay, what's your identification? They say, we are 2S LGBTQ+. And they say, great, welcome to Canada. Enjoy your stay. And that's how that's been going. Over 350. Those are just the ones that have been caught, folks. Like Pierre said, there's people that have beheaded people overseas. All right, beheaded people. And they're coming into Canada and they're going into America. I think if that was happening the other way around, if you had terrorists in the masses going into America with really shitty immigration policies and really relaxed asylum seeking policies, like imagine you can just go into America, you can seek asylum in America because you're a freedom fighter who likes cowboy boots and likes freedom. Hey, how can I be American? Imagine that was the case. And then all of a sudden it turns out that those people are like actual terrorists, like ISIS terrorists. And then they came into Canada. Don't you think we'd have like a problem with America if that were the case? We have a problem with other issues, right? Guns and drugs. Yeah, of course that comes in. Of course, those are issues. But dude, we can't deny that we have an actual issue with our immigration or screening and all that stuff. So just something to consider. And I'm so glad that the leader of the opposition is coming out and about to say what he's going to say right now. So let's take a look.
Fact, the Liberal government admits it has lost count of the number of people who are here illegally. But they say in one of their own reports that it's somewhere between 20,000 and 500,000. But they say it could be more. How reassuring. And then there are the drug deaths. 49,000 Canadians have lost their lives to opioid overdoses in the last 9 years.
Shut down safe supply in Canada. Why are we doing that? Why are we doing that in the first place? Shut down all safe supply. Canada should not be a drug cartel. We should not be giving away stuff like that. It should be off of our streets. Shut it down. Every single safe supply in the country, shut it down, man. Come on. Are you kidding me? I can tear up my jeans and I could walk into a safe supply place and I could get drugs and then I could just go and distribute that on the streets or sell it for money or bring it into America if I was really messed up. Like that's stuff that people can do. I'm not saying I would do that. I'm saying that that's a real thing that people are doing right now. Shut it down, man. But it's Canada. Oh, but people are we need to just provide the safe drugs because people are going to do them anyways. How about we stop normalizing that type of drug use? How about that? Because we could just do that. We could do that. Yeah, it takes money. Yeah, it takes time. But how about we stop normalizing it and stop giving it away for free? Holy crap. Not that we should be selling it. We should be getting rid of it. Come on.
More than died fighting for Canada in the Second World War. Can you imagine that? That was a war, and it killed fewer people than have died in Canada to opioids under this Liberal government.
Dude, oh my God. Oh man. I'm not saying I'm going to cry, but shit, that hits the spot. Wow. More people have died to opioid overdoses in Canada than in a war that we fought in. Holy frig, man. I'm like actually holding back tears right now. That's so sad. That's not what any of us voted for. That's not the country that we want. That is so freaking sad.
Opioid deaths are up over 200%. The radical drug liberalization, whereby the NDP Liberals legalized the use of fentanyl in Canada, has been yet another deadly experiment. Most of the ingredients come from China and Mexico, and yet our government cannot stop them at the border. In fact, Canadian security services identified 350 organized crime rings operating within our border. 63 of these groups have international connections to China, Mexico, and other nations. In fact, in British Columbia, police recently discovered a super lab containing enough fentanyl and materials to kill 95 million people. In the year leading up to September 2020.
Bro, where? Hold on. Sorry, I was busy looking at comments in the chat about people saying I got a haircut. I did get a haircut. My wife gave me a haircut, put some W's down, and she trimmed my jihadist beard. I don't want to be deported. Even though I'm born from Canada, I didn't want to be mistaken as one of the bad guys. I got rid of it. I got rid of the beard. I got rid of the overgrown beard. What the hell did he just say? Enough fentanyl to kill 95 million people? Whoa. I missed something. I was too busy reading comments that were being nice to me.
China, Mexico, and other nations. In fact, in British Columbia, police recently discovered a super lab containing enough fentanyl and materials to kill 95 million people.
Okay. Whoa. No shit, Trump is cracking down. Did you guys hear that? Am I missing something here? That's double our population. They're in BC. I live in BC. Where was this? What the hell? How did this happen? How did they orchestrate that? They can kill 95 million people with all that fentanyl? Dude, what the hell's going on? Can that be like, I don't really know how drugs work, to be honest. I don't know how drugs work. I once thought that I could make a pop brownie or a banana muffin. This is so embarrassing. By taking up pot, grinding it up, cutting a hole in banana bread, putting it in there, putting butter on top, and put it in the microwave. I don't know how drugs work. That's so embarrassing. I don't know why I said that. Can we edit that out, please? I don't know how drugs work. Can fentanyl just be put in food and water supply? Is that how that works? Can you poison people like that? Because if you can, then this is freaking scary. Like insanely scary. I got no idea how this works. No idea. I don't know if you have to smoke it. I don't know if you have to inject it. I have no idea how fentanyl works. But I'm wondering if there's more than enough to kill 95 million people. So you can, I'm seeing in the chat, you can just put it in the water and in the food. What the hell are we doing? We can, these people, these bad actors, these drug lords can wipe out all of Canada. They can sneak into our water supply, our water towers, and they can just poison us. It's powder. Yes, you can easily. Bro! What? Okay, now I'm freaked out. Now I'm like not drinking any water. You only need a super small quantity to kill someone. Oh my God, I'm not drinking city water anymore. What the hell's going on? Dude, I'm digging a well. You know when you're a kid and you like dig down in China? I'm digging a well and I'm freaking only drinking that water. And I'm putting security cameras powered by Starlink to monitor just my well. That's insane. Oh, no wonder. Why hasn't Trudeau said this? Why hasn't our government said this? You saw babies. Someone in the chat says, I saw babies OD from touch contact. Oh my God, it looks just like flour. Oh my God. I know people hate it when I use God's name in vain, but we're talking about genocide right here. Like we're actually talking about, this is an act of terror. 95 million people can be wiped out just from the supply in BC in a super lab. That's like a third of America. That's twice as many people in Canada. Never mind these pandemic style viruses. Bro, why am I just learning about this now? Why hasn't our government, why is Pierre Poilievre the one to say this? Why isn't Trudeau? Where's David Eby? You freaking bug-eyed Woody from Toy Story lookalike? Why isn't David Eby saying this? So I'm freaking out, man. The coffee's kicking in, my heart rate's going up, and did I get poisoned? Is there fentanyl in my coffee? Man, this is scary.
In the year leading up to September 2024, U.S. border agents seized 11,600 pounds of drugs coming from Canada. Fentanyl seizures tripled between 2023 and 2024.
Oh, my
Neighbors have noticed.
Goodness.
President Trump has raised concerns, and he has wrongly used this risk as a rationale for tariffs. These tariffs are unjustified and they are wrong. The United States.
Okay, how about we just say, hey, America, can we hire some of your people? Can we hire some of your government agents? Can we hire some of your government agents to help with this? That's insane. Like, obviously, we can't do it ourselves. So instead of fighting with America, why the hell aren't we asking for their help?
States needs to do more on its border, and so do we. But frankly, it should not take a foreign leader to get our government to reverse its deadly policies that are killing our people. It is not for President Trump or any other foreign leader that I want to stop fentanyl in my country. It's so that one more mother has to bury her face in her hands in the terrible agony of learning her son died in a back alley somewhere from this poison.
Dude, apparently you don't even need to like do the drugs to die. You don't even need to do the drugs. A small wind could make you overdose. So like it could just blow in your way. What the heck is going on?
And that is why I will take back control of Canada's borders. My common sense Canada First plan should immediately be adopted by Parliament. We must recall Parliament now and put Liberal Party power struggles aside so that we can adopt this plan to save our people and secure our borders. The plan: immediately deploy military troops, helicopters, and surveillance to the border to spot and intercept risks. As the recent remarks by the Canadian Forces Chief of the Defence Staff, General Jenny Kerrigan, offered earlier this month, we can deploy military assets into the sky, whether helicopters or other surveillance tools, and we should do so. In fact, we should have done so long ago.
Hey, that's what I said. Nice try, tricky Pierre. Nice try. That's what I said. I said that last week. I said Pierre should be going down to the border, Pierre should be going down to the border with Danielle Smith, and he should say, we're deploying helicopters. We ask for the army to be used. We're deploying more CBSA agents to patrol the border. We're throwing millions, 200 million, 500 million, $1 billion. It doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter how much money you throw at it. Just get it done. I would rather us throw more money at it now than we actually need to get this done so that there is no actual trade war. And I'm seeing down in the live chat saying Pierre's back. Hey, man, it seems like that. We thought we lost him. He had a very, I don't want to say uniparty approach, but he was agreeing. He was agreeing with Pierre, or with Trudeau, with Carney, with Freeland. And now he's taken this more aggressive approach saying, here's what we're going to do. We're going to do this and we're going to do that and more resources. Let's get it done. That's the Pierre that we need. That's the opposition that we need. I'm happy to see it. I'm happy to see it. That's good. That's good. I'm glad I said it first, but I'm still happy to see it.
2. Expand the powers of CBSA border agents to patrol everywhere along the border, not just at official border crossings. 3. Hire 2,000, at least 2,000, new CBSA agents to intercept illegal crossers, drugs, guns, and other dangerous law breakers.
5,000. Fire 5,000 CRA workers that are probably here on temporary visas. Is that messed up to say? Am I a bad person for saying that? Fire 5,000 CRA workers that are here for their visas about to expire or whatever. I'm sorry, folks, but Canada first, right? Team Canada, right? Fire 5,000 CBSA or CRA folks, and then hire 5,000 CBSA folks. There you go. Is that bad to say? Am I a bad person for saying that? I mean, sorry, it's nothing personal. I'm not going to pick 5,000. I'm not going to do it Mr. Beast game style, you know? I don't know. I don't know what to say.
Breaking. 4. Install high-powered scanners at all major land crossings and shipping ports. These scanners can see through the walls of containers and vehicles to spot drugs, guns, and stolen cars. 5.
Yeah, that's another thing too. I made a video about that like maybe a month or two ago, and it was CBSA, a CPSA dude was being interviewed. I'm like one of the only people that caught it, and he said that we have a very embarrassing statistic that only 1% of train coming into Canada, obviously from America, because the train don't go across the ocean, but I'm assuming this is for our ports as well, that we don't have the right amount of people working and we don't have the right infrastructure to scan those shipments, the train carts. We don't have the infrastructure to scan the ports. You know what's a great slogan? Never mind acts of tax. Everyone's going to be doing it. Scan the cans, Pierre. You heard it here first. Scan the mother effing cans and let's get back to it. Huh? Scan the cans. Let's see some scan the cans down in the chat. Let's see if Pierre picks that up.
5. Build border surveillance towers that we can deploy on and use to scan the landscape and detect incursions. Also,
dude, you don't even need to. You'd have patriots out there with binoculars. You could just have like retired military personnel, or just do that, right? Whatever, people that are on EI or whatever, just standing up in in the watchtowers overlooking. It's a beautiful view. You get great sunsets. You get fed, huh? There you go. Make sure it's not like a payroll thing, so don't mess with EI or any benefits of sorts. There you go. You don't even need to like go through a $80,000 a year hiring process and $100,000, training service. Dude, there's patriots in Canada that'll do this shit for free or super cheap because they just want to participate in securing our borders. Like that's phenomenal. That's phenomenal.
Deploy truck-mounted drone systems that can spot incursions from the sky. 6, track departures. We should keep track of who's leaving so that we know which deportees are still in our country. As I said at the outset, the government amazingly doesn't know how many people are here illegally. How are we supposed to protect our borders when there could be over 500,000 people inside those borders illegally, according to the government's own admissions.
Dude, Immigration Minister Mark Miller came out and said, we're not going to deport people because when people's visas expire, we trust them to leave. It's an honor system. You know what's wrong with Canada is that we trust too much, and it's all, emotions over facts. The facts are this is a beautiful country. There's a lot of opportunity, and people are abusing the system. They are not leaving when they're supposed to leave. People are lying to get in. People want to be here, whether they actually want to be here or whether it's a portal into America, which is obviously being abused, which brings us back to why we are in this position in the first place of having 25% tariffs effective as of tomorrow. Huge problem. We've been soft for too long. I see that comment in the chat. I don't know who said that, but I'm going to quote you. We've been soft for too long. We need to tighten up. We need a real ICE. Isn't that what it's called? The deportation guys in America, isn't it called ICE? That's a Canadian term. We have the ice. We've got the coldest ice. How about we name our ice department Cold Ice, Northern Ice, and we start really monitoring. First of all, you want to come into Canada? Buddy, we're going to know what year you were picking your nose and at what age you stopped. We should know everything about you. Everything about you for coming into Canada, and we should know where you are and when you're supposed to leave. We should know everything about you. Absolutely. You're a foreigner coming into this country and there's a time set for you to leave. We should know where you are. We're going to find you. And if you don't comply, you're going to get the Northern Ice. That's it. Northern Ice. Ice them. Ice, baby. There you go.
We will pay for the Canada First border plan by scrapping the Liberal gun buyback and cutting bureaucracy. The gun buyback, actually I should call it the gun grab, has been completely ineffective. They've spent $60 million and they admit it has not recovered a single gun. Meanwhile, even if they did get guns from this plan, according to the supporters of gun control, the main lobby group supporting gun control, the people who give their guns in would just take the payment they receive to buy other guns that are very similar in nature. Finally,
100%.
Buyback targets licensed, law-abiding, trained and tested hunters.
Yeah, a lot of these guns that are deemed in massive quotation, like the biggest quotation, so much of a quotation that I'm going to go full screen and say these guns that Canada is confiscating, they are war guns, okay? And there's so much so war guns that we're giving them, not selling them. We're giving them to Ukraine to fight in their war. And you know what Ukraine has said? We can't use those guns. They're shit. So if they're actually war guns, then why wouldn't a country who's at war take these war guns? It doesn't make any sense. Like if you're at war against Russia and someone's offering you free war guns, wouldn't you be like, oh yeah, thank you. Oh my God, that's the best thing ever. Thank you so much. But that's not the case. They're absolutely not used as war guns. They overheat after like 40 rounds. They're not designed for war. They would be ineffective in war. They would be great for your first 5-round magazines to go through them. And then after that, the barrel's too hot. So it's craziness. The Liberal government is just fear mongering and they're lying. They're lying to us. They're liars.
Off-duty police officers and other highly trained professionals who are of no risk. Obviously, no criminal is going to participate in a gun grab with the government. It will only be law-abiding people.
What do you mean? Liberals, come on. Come on, guys. Come on, criminals. Come on, gangbangers. Come on, folks. Hand in your guns. You're not supposed to have those guns. We know you want to go and commit those crimes, but those crimes are now illegal with guns. What do you mean they're not going to comply? What do you mean? Oh my God, that's funny. It's so true.
Police do not support this gun grab. In fact, they say that 85% of guns used in crime in Toronto are illegal guns that come in through the border.
America.
So let's stop the gangsters and gun smugglers. I want to protect Canadians
Scan the cans.
from criminals, Justin Trudeau and Mark Carney want to protect turkeys from hunters. We're also going to cut billions of dollars in pricey consultants and phase out thousands of back-office bureaucratic jobs through attrition. Less bureaucracy and waste, more boots on the ground, and more drones, choppers, and surveillance in the sky. We'll let lawful people and goods come in. We'll keep drugs, terrorists, and other threats out. And we'll save trade with the United States. It's funny, here we are trying to save our trade with another country while we can't even trade with ourselves. And that's why earlier this morning, I announced a Canada First plan to bring free trade between our provinces. Allow our truckers and our entrepreneurs to move goods and services affordably to our people, something that could boost average family income by $6,000 a year and reduce our helpless dependence on the United States. Isn't it incredible that after 9 years of Liberals, it's either easier for criminals to bring drugs and guns illegally over Canada's border than it is for our entrepreneurs to bring their products over provincial borders.
Yeah, no, that 100, 1,000, a million, infinite to infinity of infinity % agree with that. Finally, man, I can't believe. Look, there's a lot of stuff that goes on in Canada that is just so much information, and it's an ecosystem. That's a fun one. It's an ecosystem with the Liberals. It's an ecosystem. It's ever evolving. Like the 95 million people that could be wiped out from this super lab, the super fentanyl lab that was in BC. That's new information. I'm just finding that out. Maybe you guys knew about it. I just found it out moments ago. That's crazy. And now we're finding out what Pierre just said. Now, this has been something new to me. Intra-provincial trade. Why aren't we doing it? Why can't Alberta sell gas directly, crude right to BC? There should be refineries. Correct me if I'm wrong, folks, but we should be having oil refineries in like every single province. I don't care how much money it costs. We should have it in every single province. Territories too, maybe, or maybe that's not good. I don't know. But we should have refineries across the country, and we should be transporting our oil vis-a-vis pipelines, whatever you want. And we should be refining our own oil, and we should be trading amongst ourselves, our own provinces. And then we should be trading. We should be selling our oil to other countries around the world. We're selling our oil at a subsidized amount to America. And that's great. Sure. I mean, we've had a pretty good relationship with them. We haven't been invaded. We have military protection, right? And this is kind of what this tariff trade war is all about, is hashing out these details of what's going to happen. But I was on True North's podcast. I went on and talked to Candace Malcolm, and we're going to play the clip later on. Maybe not even in this live stream, but I'll make a dedicated video about it. Do you know what I suggested? I suggested that Pierre Poilievre, he's running for prime minister. And you know what? You want to talk about taking matters into your own hands? Pierre, I encourage you, Conservative Party, I encourage you guys, start pre-selling our oil to other countries. Start pre-selling our oil to other countries. I know we don't have the infrastructure to refine it right now. That's why we give it to America. They refine it and they sell it back to us. Start pre-selling our oil. I don't know how much crude oil is. Maybe it's $75, $80 a barrel. Start pre-selling it and factor in inflation, because I know Japan is willing to buy our oil for twice as much as the going rate. Lock it in. Imagine Pierre goes on X and says, you know what? Any country out there that wants to make a deal for Canadian oil, here's the price. Here's the term limits. Let's go. Make a deal right now and make it public and transparent. You know, every country is going to start bidding on that oil. That's how that's going to look. Every country, Japan, South Korea, Greece, Ukraine, every country out there is going to start responding to Pierre Poilievre, because the polls show he's going to win. He's about to be Canada's next prime minister. And then he has leverage over everybody else that's running for leadership. He's already made hypothetically $500 billion worth of revenue over the next 5 or 10 years just off of oil. Like, why not do something like that? I know people say, well, yeah, okay. How are you going to sell oil when we can't even refine it? You get people to commit. This is how business works. Sometimes you sell the product before you even have it. You take the money, use that money to build the infrastructure and scale the product, and then you sell it. That's how businesses operate often. Pierre should be doing that, in my opinion. Pierre should be pre-selling oil, and it should be right on Twitter, right on X. Do it. What's the world going to do? They're going to start bidding because we have the best oil. Our cars go further, planes fly further. We have the best and cleanest oil in the entire world, and Pierre should be taking advantage of that. That's my opinion.
Let's fix that. Let's knock down these barriers. Let's have a truly free trading, free market Canadian economy that's capable of standing on its own 2 feet. Let's do that, not to appeal to any foreign leader, but to put Canadians back in charge of their lives and their country. Let us restore the Canadian promise that anyone from anywhere can do anything, that hard work gets you a powerful paycheck and pension that buys affordable food and homes in safe neighborhoods, protected by strong borders, under a proud flag that represents the freest nation on earth. Canada. Canada here, Canada now, Canada forever. Let's bring it home.
I'll now take questions from the floor.
That was good.
Jared Yeager here from the Western Standard. Just English.
I feel like he's redeemed himself a little bit. I'm very happy and pleased with that. I'm extremely happy and pleased with that. I was critical. I get it. I was very, very critical of Pierre and his response to the tariffs and wanting to get into a trade war. We've had a lot of time. We've had over a month now to really start clamping down on these issues. And I'm glad that Pierre finally is coming out now. It's easy for me to say he should have been saying this a long time ago, right? But I'm glad he's doing it now. It's good. I like it. And also, W to my wife for bringing me a hot coffee. Eh? Thank you. Thanks, love. I appreciate it.
Just fine. What message does it send that Mexico got a 1-month pause before Canada? And do you think Trudeau's call with Trump today will yield a similar result?
Unfortunately, I wasn't on the call, so I can't tell you anything about how it went. But what I can say is that we need a Canada First agenda that will protect us against these unfair and unjustifiable tariffs. And that Canada First plan must include retaliatory tariffs to deter the attacks on our economy. It must include a strong border to protect our people against drugs, guns, and terrorists. It must include a bring-it-home tax cut and red tape cut so that we can reward hard work, bring home billions of dollars of investment, develop our own resources, and it must include free trade among our own provinces. That is how we become stronger, more self-reliant, and less hopelessly dependent on foreign powers and foreign governments.
Thank you. Next question.
Hi, Michelle Gassoub, CBC, and if we could get an answer in French as well, please.
You're not going to ask me to step aside and let Liberals stay in power through to eternity, as your CBC colleague said yesterday.
On the Prime Minister to bring back Parliament and...
Yo, okay, good, man. Good, I like that. Drop some W's in the chat for Pierre, man. That's awesome. We all saw it yesterday. We all seen it. Oh my goodness. My video got like over 200,000 views. Everybody saw it. Everybody saw CBC attack Pierre. Have you thought about stepping down? Come on. He's like, what the hell's the matter with you? Have you thought about another job? Get out of here. Man, that is incredible. She awkwardly laughed too. She's like, ha ha ha, anyways. And he's like, nope. Oh, but we're going to replay that, man. That was awesome. That's the politics that I like. I like that. I like those zingers. I like that off the cuff stuff, you know. That's the Trump-esque type of approach to media, but this is Pierre and he's got a more Canadian approach to it, right? I like it. I'm pro this, man. I love this stuff. Here we go. Let's listen to it again, uninterrupted.
Hi, Michelle Gassoub, CBC, and if we could get an answer in French as well, please.
You're not going to ask me to step aside and let the Liberals stay in power through to eternity, as your CBC colleague said yesterday.
You've called on the Prime Minister to bring
No.
back Parliament and pass your plan to counter Donald Trump's tariffs. Does that mean you're willing to work with other parties to come up with an agreed-upon plan before voting non-confidence and bringing down the government?
Well, of course, we can't do any of those things because Justin Trudeau and the Liberals have shut Parliament.
Yeah.
Parliament is closed. You should direct your question to the Liberals. Why, in the middle of this crisis, have the Liberal Party powers put themselves ahead of Canadians? They're in the middle of a Liberal Party power struggle. Again, concerned about themselves, their own self-interest, rather than immediately recalling Parliament so that we can pass a Canada First plan like the one I've just laid out.
En français.
Merci beaucoup. Les libéraux ont fermé le Parlement, donc c'est impossible de voter sur un plan pour mettre le Canada d'abord. Il n'y a pas de Parlement.
That was good. That was good. I like it. That was a good answer. Let's see what else there is.
Pose injustifiablement le Parlement. Canada libre-échange américain, y compris fort de
I'm
l'étranger.
trying to skip through the French here. Bear with me.
Thank you. Next question.
Hi, Thomas Seal from Bloomberg. Yesterday, Elizabeth May said that on the federal leaders' call, the Prime Minister said it had become increasingly clear that there was no evidence or further actions on border security that would make any difference. Trump would only double down. Today, Trump is talking about market access for US banks. So what's your understanding of Trump's ultimate goal here, and should concessions like more market access for US companies be on the table?
You'd have to ask President Trump what his goals are. He's said he wants to put America first. Well, I will put Canada first. We need a Canada First plan that's good for this country. We need to protect our borders, not to please any other foreign leader. I've been calling to reinforce our border for about 8 years now. I was the first to come out and demand a closure of Roxham Road, where tens of thousands of people entered illegally.
Okay, so this makes more sense. He's been saying it for 8 years. And so the threat of the tariffs in the past month and a bit, right? All we've wanted to hear from Pierre is exactly what we just heard today. Go after the border, go after the border, go after the border. But because he's the one that's been saying it, he didn't feel like he needed to keep saying it per se. And maybe he needed to add in some other talking points. That, I feel like the advisors should have just said, double down. 8 years of talking, now's the time. Now's the time. Focus on the border, only talk about the border, only go after that. But that makes a little bit more sense. So now I can understand when you've been saying something for so long and then finally, like, the finish line is there for you to say that same thing. Sometimes you're a little bored of saying it because you've been saying it and you feel like, I've been saying it for 8 years. Why do I have to say it again? I've been saying it for 8 years. But that, yeah, so that makes a little bit more sense. Now I'm understanding why he said the things that he said instead of focusing on just the border, because he's been preaching it for 8 years. Of course.
I was then the one who forced Justin Trudeau through an ultimatum to finally close Roxham Road. I called for scanners to be put in at all of our ports well over a year ago in order to intercept drugs, guns, and other contraband. I've been saying that we need to have strong borders for years, and I haven't been doing that to please anyone in the White House. I've been doing it to save the lives of our people. That is what it means to put Canada first.
Thank you. This will be the final question.
Aaron McCarthy, Global News.
Good answer.
Much of what you've said is going to require resources. How much would a Conservative government spend on defence priorities in the first year?
Ooh.
Well, I've already said that we're going to use
have to review.
the dollar principle, which is to cut waste in order to fund stronger borders. And I gave very tangible examples. We will save $600 million by getting rid of the ridiculous gun grab that has not taken a single firearm off the street and goes after licensed, law-abiding, trained and tested hunters and sport shooters. And we will use that money for frontline borders. Second, we will reduce the size of the federal back office bureaucracy. There are roughly 17,000 bureaucrats that voluntarily retire every single year. I'm not going to replace them all. And through that powerful the powerful mathematics of attrition, we will reduce the morbidly obese back office bureaucracy that has grown by 50% in a decade, and we'll put that money into frontline, boots on the ground, drones, helicopters, and other surveillance in the sky. Dollar for dollar. Whenever I bring in new spending, it will be matched by $1 of savings. That's how single moms, seniors, and small businesses run their finances. It's how I will run the government.
That's not bad.
Thank you very much. I actually have. Sorry, false information. Is this the CBC? CBC managed to get in here again? All right.
Didn't say anything about annexation. Is any of your border plan to protect against America coming over the border to annex us?
Canada.
Okay, whoa, this is super important. We're going to back it up a second here. So there was a bonus question that was just asked by, it looks like, CBC. What are you going to do to prevent annexation? It sounded like. That's what he said. Okay. The reason why that's being asked to Pierre Poilievre, and we're all going to play it in a second. I'm just going to blue ball you for a second here, because Donald Trump, moments ago, like 15 minutes ago, in the Oval Office, said that he wants to make Canada the 51st state. He just said it again in the Oval Office, not while getting off his plane, not on Twitter or X or Truth Social, but in the Oval Office. So it's a pretty big deal. And can America use military force to take over Canada? I mean, right now, we're pretty weak. We're pretty weak. So I guess he could. And I don't think Americans are going to shoot us. And I don't think Canadians are going to shoot Americans. So it would just be like, wow, no, what are you doing? That's kind of how I feel it would be. So before we play that clip from Pierre, we're going to play this clip here from President Trump. Okay, watch this.
On Canada, when you talk to Justin Trudeau again, is there anything he can give you at 3 p.m. when you talk again to also
I don't know.
Pause,
I don't know.
like you said with Mexico?
I don't know. We have big deficits with Canada, like we do with all countries. I mean, I look at some of the deals made, I say, who the hell made these deals that are so bad? But with Canada, I have a talk with him, and you maybe know or maybe not. We're going to meet again or talk again at 3 o'clock, right after my next meeting, and we'll see what happens. I can't tell you what's going to happen.
You mentioned that he could agree to change your mind on the tariffs?
Well, we can always, look, what I'd like to see, Canada become our 51st state. We give them protection, military protection. We don't need them to build our cars. I'd rather see Detroit or South Carolina or any one of our, Tennessee, any one of our states build the cars. They could do it very easily. We don't need them for the cars. We don't need them for lumber. We don't need them for anything. We don't need them for energy. We have more energy than they do. We don't need them for energy. So I say, why are we doing this? Why are we willing to lose between $100 billion and $200 billion a year? We don't need them. As a state, it's different. As a state, it's much different. And there are no tariffs. So I'd love to see that, but some people say that would be a long shot. If people wanted to play the game right, it would be 100% certain that they'd become a state. But a lot of people don't like to play the game because they don't have a threshold of pain. And there would be some pain, but not a lot. The pain would be really there. So we're going to meet again by phone at 3 o'clock, and we'll let you know what happens.
Okay, so that's what he said moments ago before Pierre was asked that question. Here's what Trump said late last night when he got off his plane. We're gonna get to that last clip of Pierre in a moment, but here we go.
Mr. President.
You saw some retaliatory tariffs from Canada.
Say it.
You saw some retaliatory tariffs from Canada. There was a rider in the order. Are you planning to increase the tariffs against Canada?
Well, it could happen. If they do anything, we will. Canada's been very abusive of the United States for many years. They don't allow our banks. Did you know that? Canada does not allow banks to go in. If you think about it, that's pretty amazing. If we have a U.S. bank, they don't allow them to go in. Canada's been very tough on oil, on energy. They don't allow our farm products in, essentially. They don't allow a lot of things in, and we allow everything to come in. It's been a one-way street. We subsidize Canada by the tune of about $200 billion a year. And for what? What do we get out of it? We don't get anything out of it. I love the people of Canada. I disagree with the leadership of Canada. And something's going to happen there. But if they want to play the game, I don't mind. We can play the game all they want. Mexico, we've had very good talks with them. And this is retaliatory. This is retaliatory to a certain extent. Millions of people flowed into our country through Mexico and Canada. And we're not going to allow that. And by the way, we have among the lowest numbers we've ever had of people crossing our border, the lowest numbers since my administration.
Mr. President, you said, so on Truth Social, you said that you were going to cut aid from South Africa. Will you plan to cut aid across other African nations, and why South Africa?
No, it's only South Africa. Terrible things that happen.
All right. So that's what he said about Canada late last night and in the Oval Office like 15, 20 minutes ago. So let's go back here to Pierre Poilievre. Finished his press conference and he was ready to walk away when CBC asked him one final question. And that is, what are you going to do if Trump just walks on over into the border and tries to take Canada? So here we go.
Seniors and small businesses. Thank you very much. I actually have. Sorry, false information. Is this the CBC? CBC managed to get in here again? All right.
Is any of your order plan to protect against America coming over the border to annex us?
Canada.
Okay, so that's quiet, and unfortunately can't boost it too much because it'll blow all of our eardrums. He said, is there anything stopping you? What are you going to do if Trump just rolls over the border and tries to annex Canada? Annexation, what's your idea? What's your plan? Let's hear Pierre's response. Because this is something that President Trump now last night said, and now this morning said, and he said before in social media. So this is a real thing that Trump is actually considering. I know there's a lot of people that watch these videos. There's a lot of Canadians that are pro 51st state. But if we have an opportunity to save Canada and to keep our country a country, I think that that's something that we should absolutely be exploring. Let's hear what the next Prime Minister of Canada says about that.
Canada is an independent country. We will never be the 51st state, and we will have a strong and independent country. And by the way, my Canada First plan will make us more independent and less reliant on the Americans, unlike Mr. Carney, Mr. Trudeau, who have made us helpless facing the Americans. They blocked pipelines, blocked LNG plants. They made us totally helpless on the Americans. And frankly, if I have some advice for President Trump, I'll tell you what it is. He should be sending a big bouquet of flowers to Mark Carney for blocking the Northern Gateway pipeline, to Justin Trudeau for killing the Energy East pipeline, and to all the Liberals for killing our LNG liquefaction plants that would have given us other markets. Because President Trump has been given an incredible gift by these radical anti-development Liberals when they blocked the projects that would have made us more self-reliant. I will make our economy more self-reliant. We will take back control of our lives. We will put our country first. Thank you.
That was probably one of the best ways that any Canadian politician has ever stood up to Trump. Trump should be thanking the Liberals. He should be thanking all of the Liberals who played a part in giving America such great deals. That's awesome. Look, Canadians, a lot of us watching this video right now like Trump. A lot of Americans like Canada and Canadians. Right now, we're at an impasse. Okay, we're at an impasse. I'm not saying, hey, that was a great FU to Trump. No. Two people can have a big boy conversation and say, look, we appreciate what you're trying to do, but stay the hell away from trying to annex us. Stay the hell away, because Canada's a rich country and we have a real opportunity to be insanely powerful. We can make a lot of money. We got some of the best oil and some of the most amount of oil in the entire world. Yes, we're a small country. Yes, we don't have 300 million people living here the way that they do in America. Yes, we don't have currently the same type of military power that they do in America, But that's not to say that we can't be a heavy hitter in the world down the road. We just need the money to do it, and we need the right leadership. We need a leader that's willing to not just hit 2%, but strives to hit 5% or more for our contribution for our GDP into our defense budget. And the way to do that is, well, with a different leader who's not a liberal. So Pierre has already said that he's wanting to commit a lot of money, over 2%, if I'm not mistaken, to our defense budget. This is great. We have a real opportunity. Like, this is what I said on True North when I went on the interview there this morning. Actually, I'm going to pull it up right now, and we're going to review some of the things that I said. Because I think that Canada has a real good opportunity to make a lot of money and to really prosper. Here, we're going to review some of this. If you guys haven't seen it here, this is on True North's page. Let's take a look. Choose between becoming a part of America. Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Okay, so I mean, what's your instant reaction to everything that's happened over the past weekend?
Wow, I mean, there is so much divisiveness in Canada. You're talking about people that are just without this weekend, supporting Trudeau or against Trudeau. So already the country's split in half. And now it feels like people are having to choose between becoming a part of America or supporting Trump or standing up against that. So now the right is even more divided than ever. And there's just so many moving parts, and it's happening so fast. And I think that now we have to band together more than ever, and to have some form of a Canada First, Team Canada approach where it doesn't matter if you're left or if you're right. I think that we all have to come together and figure out a way to rebuild Canada. We are extremely fractured, and I'll be the first to admit, I love America. I've always been pro-America. I've worked with Americans in the military. Yeah. I love traveling to America. I think everyone in Canada has a friend or family member, or at least knows someone that is American or resides in America. And the things that I love about America is their freedom, and we can do that here. Their superpower, their dominance around the world, and the fact that businesses go to America to just exist, the American dream. And I think that right now Canada is having to choose a path between, do we want that right now? And what does that even look like? Or do we invest in ourselves, which is in the long, it's a long run. It's a long game, right? It's like changing your body. You go to the gym, you eat well, you don't see results right away, but you're putting in the hard work now for months or years down the road. And that's kind of what we're having to do right now. And I think that we have a real possibility in Canada to have those beautiful things that America has, but here in Canada. So everyone who's pro-America, like myself, we can have that. It's just going to take a lot of time and a lot of effort. Yeah. Everyone who is, I mean, look, we can do a test. We can do a test down in the live shot right now. If you want to be the 51st state, if you're pro 51, then put a 51 down in the chat. Right? Let's see how many 51s. I'll get it started right there. Put some 51s down in the chat if you're pro being the 51st state, and just watch how many people do that. Okay. There's going to be a lot of people. There's going to be a lot of Canadians that do it. There's going to be a lot of Americans that do it, but there's going to be a lot of 51s that are running through the chat in about 5 seconds. We have a real opportunity. All the things that we love about America, their freedom, their military power, like I just said in this interview that happened this morning. Okay. We have all those things that we like about America, the American dream, right? Their resources. Yeah, their land is nice. They got a big variety of land, but they have a lot of opportunities. A lot of companies go there to America. They have really cool technology, right? Advanced technology for the military, all that stuff. So everyone who's putting a 51 down in the chat right now, this is why I'm doing it. I'm not saying that I'm pro 51 state. I'm not saying that I'm not. I'm saying everyone who's putting a 51 down in the chat, all those things that you love about America, we can do that here in Canada. We can be a very rich country. We can have a strong military, a very strong military. We don't necessarily need 10 million or 5 million soldiers in our military. We need good equipment. We need good training. We need to get rid of the DEI stuff. We need to get rid of that woke stuff. We need to get back to the basics. Okay. So everyone who's putting a 51 down, just know that the reasons why you want to be the 51st state, we can have that here. We can have a strong dollar. We can have a very rich country. We can have cheap gas. We can have cheap cigarettes and tobacco. We can have cheaper alcohol. We can have cheaper cost of living, cheaper houses. We can have businesses that come and invest here in Canada. We can have good paying jobs. Well, I feel like our jobs are better paying than America. Anyways, we can have all those things, all those reasons why everyone in the chat is putting 51. All those reasons as to why you're putting 51, we can have that here in this country. And the way to do that is going to take some time. It's going to take some effort, but it's going to need to be under new leadership. We all agree that Justin Trudeau and the Liberals are not the ones that can pull that off. In fact, they've been going the opposite way with all this progressiveness. We need to get rid of this. We need to get rid of the Paris Accord. We need to get rid of any climate agendas, okay? We need to get rid of all of that. Any politician that's like, oh, we need to lower our carbon emissions and blah, 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 blah. They need to shut the heck up. Sorry, but not sorry. The only thing that we should be talking about collectively in Canada right now is let's put more money into our oil. Let's get it out of the ground and let's sell it. Let's sell it. Let's sell it. Let's ship it intra-provincially. Let's use our resources and let's go. That's what we all need. That's the only Canada First and Team Canada approach. This liberal woke utopia that they're trying to create of, universal basic income, of no gas emissions, everything's electric, we can identify as whatever we want, and all that stuff, man, that don't work. That doesn't work. That Canada has been a test pilot for that, and we've almost collapsed. We're on the brink of collapse. That shit does not work. I'm sorry. But we need to shut the mouths of all these woke people and woke politicians, and we need to become extremely based, use our resources, invest in our country. Never mind climate change. Screw that. Screw that whole climate change narrative and just put our money where our mouth is and take our resources and actually use it and sell it. We can be a prosperous country. We can have some wicked military equipment. We can have some advanced tanks. We can have some advanced fighter jets. We can have some great drones. We can have all that stuff, all this advanced weaponry. All these companies like Palantir, all these AI companies, all that stuff, they should be wanting to come to Canada too. We have to lower income tax. All right. Lower income tax, lower business corporate tax rates so that people are actually incentivized to make money, to come here and create jobs with their businesses and pay less in tax. Okay. We shouldn't be taxing our population to death. We should be selling our resources to other countries. We're literally sitting on a fat stack of gold, and it's like a 10-year-old child that's like, haha, this is my gold. And it's like, okay, but you're 10 and you're dumb. You don't know what to do with it. That's the state of Canada right now. Is our leaders are like, wow, we're a very rich country with all our minerals, but we don't do anything with it. We absolutely need to do stuff with it, and we should be getting rich in the process. We should better our highways, better our train system. There's one train track that goes from east to west. Are you freaking nuts? Come on. You got countries around the world like Switzerland. They've got bunkers and tunnel systems through their mountains. Why doesn't Canada have something like that? Why don't we have bunkers and tunnels through our Rockies? Like, what the hell is going on? Why don't we have military equipment that's being stored in the Rocky Mountains, right? Like, there's just so much things that we should be doing that we're not. We're a sleeping giant. It's going to take some time, but hey, that's my investment, is using my voice, my platform to preach for the things that I think is in the best interest, not just for me right now, but for my kids and my grandchildren, should I be blessed. Okay. That's the stuff that I want. I want Canada to be a respected country. I want Canada to freaking prosper. I want Canada to have a good, strong military. I want Canada to be a world contender, right? We used to be respected. We were peacekeepers. We used to have a good military. We used to have some good things, but we can be better than ever. I'm not saying we could be better than the United States. Who cares about comparisons right now? We can actually fix our country. It's just going to take some time, right? So this whole we should be the 51st state thing, to everyone that put a 51 in the chat, all I ask of you is, if you put 51 down in the chat and you're a Canadian and you want to be part of the United States, wouldn't you also want Canada, those things that you like about America, to be here in Canada? And then we're not the 51st state, and that we just remain Canada, but we have all those things, all those boxes that you've checked as to why you actually put a 51 down in the chat, right? I think that we have a real opportunity to do that. But that's my piece, and I would absolutely love to know your guys' opinion. We're going to review this footage later on because there's some other things that I say in here. But for now, folks, I think we're going to cut this short. I know Trump and Trudeau are doing a phone call, probably on the phone right now. Actually, you know what? Let's just watch it a little bit more and see if we get some details of that phone call very soon.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that for instance, when I look at what Pierre Poilievre said, he's talking about how we can kind of open up Canada so that we can become more competitive, right? So allow more pipelines, build more infrastructure around our energy and our oil and getting it to other markets, freeing up interprovincial barriers, all that kind of stuff. That's kind of like the long-term stuff that you're talking about, like going to the gym. You're not going to see overnight results with that kind of stuff because we don't have capacity. We can't just wake up tomorrow and start trading our oil to China or Europe when we don't have pipelines to get it to freshwater, and we have laws banning tankers and other issues. But to me, it seems
we can now, and I do talk about this coming up, is we absolutely can start selling our oil to countries overseas. Pierre should be taking to social media and doing pre-sales. He should be selling oil for a good price, locking in some 5-year, 10-year contracts. Okay. He should be doing that right now. And he should be selling oil tentatively and locking in, multi-billion-dollar deals. That's what I think should be happening.
like there's overnight things that we could have done to get Trump to come to the table and make a deal, like fixing the border, cracking down on the drug, manufacturers that operate in Canada, really cracking down on criminal gangs, particularly like Chinese criminal gangs that are allowing fentanyl coming and going and distributing it. Those are things that I didn't hear Trudeau really taking seriously. I know that you're a huge critic of Trudeau, and I don't think there's a lot of love lost there, especially when I think of your audience. You have a massive audience of, I think, mostly like young males. I don't know, maybe you can tell us a bit about your audience, but it seems to me that a lot of the people that follow you, Jasper, would prefer Canada just say, become the 51st state, or embrace what Trump is offering. So what do you think? Do you think that there is a large constituent of Canadians that would be happier as America? Do you take that seriously, the idea that Canada should join the United States? Or do you think that we really need to focus on rebuilding our own country?
I don't know, chat. Let me know. Let me know down in the comments what you guys are thinking. Are you wanting 51st state? Let's get some confirmation right now. Let me know down below in the comments. I've been guilty in the past few days, over the weekend especially, right, of just kind of flirting with the idea of becoming the 51st state, right? And I that's just a Band-Aid solution. Becoming the 51st state, we can all admit that there's a lot of crazies in America. There's a lot of crazies. There's a lot of people. There's a lot of bad actors in America. If we become the 51st state, we're automatically giving them a free pass to come north without any borders, without any restrictions. That's something that I don't think a lot of people are really prepared for. I think that the people like myself that love America, we can have those things. It's going to take time. It's going to take time, but it's an investment for for my kids, right? For your kids, for our grandkids to be able to experience that economic boom. Things made in Canada by Canadians, create Canadian jobs. And you're right, it's not going to happen overnight, but nothing in politics does. And in fact, right before we jumped on this call this morning, I had a thought. And Pierre Poilievre is extremely about transparency. He wants less government, more transparency. And this is probably going to stir the pot, but I've had a bit of a Uncle Ben talk from someone, with great power comes great responsibility. And I've got a platform, and I'm just going to throw this out there. Pierre Poilievre's running for leadership. He wants to be the prime minister. What's stopping him right now? What's stopping any political leader in Canada right now from trying to get pre-sales on oil ready to go with other countries? You have countries like Japan that are ready to pay double the current price right now to lock in a 5, 10, 15, 20-year deal for our oil. We have the best oil, the cleanest oil in the entire world. And we should be using that, and we plan on using that with a different government. And so I think that if Pierre Poilievre or the Conservatives maybe said, you know what, open bidding process, starting at, I don't know what the going, prices for barrel. Let's say it's $90 per barrel, right? $90 per barrel. Whatever country out there wants to start a lock-in a 5-year deal, when I'm prime minister, let's start at $90. And then you're going to start to see a bunch of countries around the world take it a little bit more seriously. That's going to undercut Justin Trudeau. It's going to undercut Jagmeet Singh. It's going to undercut any liberal candidate that's running for leadership right now, because no one's actually trying to make those deals. Everyone's got these slogans or these reverse promises, right? We're pro carbon tax. Now all of a sudden, 3 months later, we're not pro carbon tax. Mark Carney and chrystia Freeland. Why doesn't Pierre take the X and just start pre-selling barrels of oil? Why not lock in these multi-year deals, multi-billion-dollar deals, right? I know he's not prime minister and he doesn't have that authority right now, but what's stopping him from saying, when I'm prime minister, Japan wants a $200 billion deal for 5, 10 years worth of oil? What's stopping that from actually happening?
Well, yeah. And I mean, I think that that's an interesting idea. I think that Canada still faces a problem of just a lack of pipelines, right? Like,
no, we don't. I mean, yes, we do, but we don't. That's the whole point of pre-selling, right? When you pre-sell something, like look at what Elon Musk did with Tesla. It's the Tesla approach, right out of the Elon handbook. Okay. You pre-sell for a fraction of what the actual contract is. You lock it in. Okay. You lock it in. So you get, $50 million, $100 million, $200 million upfront, and that's in good faith of here's how much oil we're going to give you over these amount of years on a $20 billion or $100 billion deal. You pre-sell some of the commitment to certain amount of barrels of oil over the course of X amount of years. You take the deposit, you take that money to fix the pipeline. You take that money to create our own refineries. You get it up and running in 12 months. There you go. That's how you do it. That's business. That's how business operates. That's how Elon Musk's dealerships operate with Teslas. You want to buy a Cybertruck, you pay $150 up front. Okay, yes, it is refundable, but in this case, we're talking about geopolitics, non-refundable. Elon Musk takes $150 up front, and then in a year or 18 months, you finally get an email saying, okay, your Cybertruck is ready in 2 weeks. Do you still want it? Here's the total cost. That's how Tesla's operated. That's how businesses operate. There you go.
the pipelines over the past 10 years have been blocked by Trudeau. So we have issues even just getting the oil from Alberta out to the coast, like the Trans-Pacific pipeline. The government ended up having to buy it and basically shutting it down. And we don't have the capacity to get the oil to the East Coast. So I feel like we have to first build up the infrastructure, and that doesn't happen overnight. Like, I think that...
No, but it can happen in a year. OPM, other people's money. You take other countries' money as a contract. They put a deposit down for their oil. Pierre can easily start negotiations. Pierre can start these negotiations, and it can be right on X, and it'd be transparent. That undercuts Justin Trudeau. It makes him look like a fool, and that also puts some pressure on America. Because if Pierre starts this, America and Trump will say, hey, whoa, we're getting oil. We're getting oil for a good deal. You're going to start selling your oil. That's not good. That's how you do it. right? That's a pressure tactic against America, and then it's also a bidding process for the world. And then the world can see how valuable our oil is and how much demand there is for it. Japan is ready to pay twice the going rate for our oil. Japan is ready. They're ready to lock it in. Let's go, Pierre. Start reaching out on Twitter to Japan and say, I'm going to be prime minister in the next 12 months. You want to make a deal right now? It's going to be cheaper for you to make a deal right now. It's for the whole world to see because it's public. Sign this, commit to this right now, and we're going to deliver you X amount of barrels. There you go. That's exactly how you do it.
I mean, if I was going to be advising Pierre Poilievre to do something, I would tell him to go down and negotiate with Trump. Like, go to the White House and try to strike a deal, like beg him to stop with the tariffs and say, look, when I'm prime minister, like, help me, demand an election in Canada, say I'll pause these tariffs until an election happens. And then once I'm prime minister, you know, things will be different. I'll secure the border. I'll crack down on the fentanyl dens, and I will do all the things that you want me to do to have a more secure America. Like that's what I would be telling Pierre to do. Although I think secondary, sure, let's also diversify our markets. Why do you think Pierre hasn't gone down to the States yet? Why do you think he didn't go to Mar-a-Lago with Danielle Smith? Why do you think he didn't go down for inauguration?
I have no idea why he didn't go down. And I've criticized him over the weekend, this past weekend, about that by, going on my channel and saying, I think that Pierre should go even to the border with Danielle Smith and do, a press conference with the media right there and say, this is how much Danielle Smith, conservatives are investing into securing our border right now. But I don't know if we should be crawling back to America to try and we're selling them subsidized oil, and then we're buying it back. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't have deals with America. Absolutely, we should. But we should be, Trudeau and the Liberals and the government have really screwed us with these bad deals. And we've only really been able to sell to America. And I understand that it takes a lot of money and a decent amount of time to get those pipelines under wraps. But the idea of pre-selling and securing these multi-billion-dollar deals, you take that money and you invest it immediately into that infrastructure. There's a cash flow injection coming. We create jobs and we get it going right away. That's where I think Canada should be going.
Yeah, and I think that's interesting. And I think that that's the direction that we're going to have to go, because if we can't get a good deal trading to American
we can't rely on America for everything anymore. Canada's taking advantage of America. Not you, not me, but our government, our liberal woke ass government has taken advantage of America for a long time. We've only sold to America. We've locked in these really crappy deals for Canada where we can only sell to America, and it's about time. Look, even we sell to BRICS. Who cares, right? We start selling to BRICS. We sell to Brazil. We sell oil to Russia. We sell oil to India. Okay, let's go. Let's go. Let's start selling our oil to South Korea. Let's start selling our oil to countries that want to buy it, that make us money. Let's do that.
Neighbors, we're going to have to find other markets. I'm curious, what did you think of Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's Saturday evening address? He came out. First of all, it irks me that he resigned in January, and yet he's still out there leading the way. Like, usually when you resign, you go away, you actually leave the job.
That's
but
right.
Somehow he's resigned and he's still there, nagging us. I saw even a bunch of conservatives online kind of applauding him for sounding sort of statesman and not being as condescending as he normally is to Americans. I have a clip I want to play. So let's play this first clip of Trudeau just basically making his announcement last night.
Unfortunately, the actions taken today by the White House split us apart.
By the White House.
Instead of bringing us together. Tonight, I am announcing Canada will be responding to the U.S. trade action with 25% tariffs against $155 billion worth of American goods. This will include immediate tariffs on $30 billion worth of goods as of Tuesday, followed by further tariffs on $125 billion worth of American products in 21 days' time to allow Canadian companies and supply chains to seek to find alternatives.
So that's what Trudeau had to say when he basically just said we're going to go dollar for dollar and we're going to reply in kind with 25% tariffs. So what did you think?
I might have a bit of an unpopular opinion for the first. Okay, so there you go, folks. I mean, if you want to see the rest of that interview, you can go to, this is right on True North's YouTube channel called A Trade War Will Destroy Canada. That's the name of the video. It dropped earlier this morning. We're going to end it here. We've covered a lot. I've been waiting for Justin Trudeau's phone call to end with President Trump here, but obviously they're having a good long chat. So there's going to be another update, either another video later today or an emergency live stream. We'll have to see how that plays out. But I want to thank everyone for being here. I'm going to read off some super chats. But to those that are going to be leaving and don't want to hear me read that, I want to thank everyone for tuning in. If you haven't yet already, I'd like to encourage you guys to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. It is very much appreciated. And we're going to need it. We're going to need it because subscriptions are now going to be 25% tariffed. That doesn't make sense. It's free to subscribe, but I just thought I'd throw that out there. All right, let's read some super chats here. Let's see. Malice Gaming with the 5. I'm just going to make it full screen. Malice Gaming with the 5 saying, I'm not nice, but I'm truthful. If you make this about money, you're cutting off the nose to spite the face. Aggression from Canada is a bad idea. Yeah, I agree. I don't think that retaliatory tariffs should be even discussed by Canada. I think that if this is the way that President Trump wants to take it, then we need to start negotiating trade deals with other countries instead of just retaliatory tariffs. So let's start selling our oil. Let's pre-sell our oil to other countries. That's what Pierre could be doing right now, in my opinion. Gangster Computer God with 199. Really enjoying your streams. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Mouse Game with the 5. Canadian immigration is about dangerous, skilled people like terrorists. Terrorists caught have all been in Canada. It isn't quality, it isn't quantity, it's quality. Yeah, there's a huge issue with our immigration, like a massive issue. And that's obviously one of the big reasons why Trump is doing what he's doing. The Cryptic Stench with a 699. The total was 564 and 484 crossed from our border. I'm assuming that's what is that? That was in reference to the terrorists that were caught, the people on terrorist watch lists. I'm assuming. Wes with the 5 gifted memberships, and then Wes with his own membership. Thanks, Wes. Okay, let's see here. C1D with the 5 saying scan the cans. Again, Sunshine saying it first. Sunshine for PM. Hell no. That means I have to wear pants, socks, suit and tie. There's no chance. But I appreciate that. Let's get some scan the cans down in the chat. I want Pierre to start saying that. He's good with the slogans. He's good with all that. Scan the cans because Canada really needs to do that. Mark Guidetti with the 5 saying Mexico bent the knee and won't get tariffed. Why is Canada choosing its own destruction over doing what Trump asks? I mean, that's the liberal way. That's the Trudeau way. That's what he likes to do. Nobody in Canada is in agreement with what he's doing, other than radical lefties. Duchess of Dub with the 2 saying PDTs to newcomers, personal data transmitters to newcomers. Okay, that's interesting. Just put a tracking device on all newcomers. That's a little messed up. But I mean, it might be a solution. Could be a solution. West with the 5 saying, has Pierre actually backtracked and stated he's not for counter tariffs? I've only been working while streaming, so I miss stuff sometimes. Well, if you're still here, Wes, he didn't backtrack. he just didn't really acknowledge any of retaliatory tariffs rhetoric. His entire speech today was about doubling down, tripling down, providing more resources to the border, which is something that I put out for free advice last week on the channel. I should start invoicing the Conservatives, but we need new leadership. So those are free. Those are freebies. I'm glad that he listens. I'm glad that Pierre actually, his team or Pierre directly watches social media and takes some good talking points and things like that from people, because that's what it's all about. No one person has all the answers. I don't have all the answers. I read comments. I talk about this stuff all the time with people in the community, with friends and family and blah, blah, blah. Like, no one person has all of the answers. A good leader surrounds himself around people that are thinking outside the box and can spot good thoughts outside the box and bring those thoughts to that leader. So the fact that Pierre is watching social media and taking talking points like that, bro, Pierre, do it. Take the talking points and do what's best for the country. Just try not to take such a hard stance on clapping back against America in the future, because that was very polarizing. Alfred Willems with the 12 memberships, 12 months, member for 12 months. Is that what that means? Member for 12 months. Scan the cans. Good call, Jasper. Northern Ice. Let's do it. Northern Ice, right? We need our own deportation ICE organization. Why not? Why does America have that, and why don't we? Let's make one and call it Northern Ice. The icicles. Like, who cares? Let's make it, man. Let's do it. Let's do it. Alfred with a 10 Canadian, but no message attached. Thank you, Alfred. Lindsay Irwin with the 5 saying, we need an election, a real leader. Trudeau destroyed Canada. We are done with him. Yeah, I think we all agree on that one. Unfortunately, we might not see that election this year. We might not see that election, but we will see it at some point. And by that point, if Pierre stays course and keeps doing what he's doing, then I think we'll be good. I'm seeing some people saying they like Northern Ice. I see Polar Ice. There's some good ones. Take that, Pierre. Come on, Pierre. Take it. Northern Ice or Polar Ice. There's some good organization names, right? Let's get that going. Somebody clip this or like bookmark it, screenshot it, whatever, so that if Pierre ever does come out with it, we know that he got it from this channel. How about that? Let's remember it. Granite Man with the 2 saying, Poilievre, not Prime Minister Trudeau. Trudeau all is on him. Poilievre, not Prime Minister Trudeau is on him. I don't know exactly what English sentence was trying to be said there, but I know that Pierre is not the Prime Minister. Thanks for that. But again, that might have been in reference to the comments that I was making about Pierre jumping on social media on X and saying we need to, or I was saying that Pierre should be pre-selling our oil. I understand he's not the Prime Minister. Everybody knows. Everyone knows Trudeau's the Prime Minister. The whole world, unfortunately, knows that Trudeau's the Prime Minister. But that doesn't stop him. Nothing's stopping him. There's no legalities. There's no red tape around a candidate who is slated to win by a long shot to start negotiations publicly with other countries about the one thing that Canada has the most of in this entire country. We have more oil than we have anything else. And so him jumping on social media and saying, okay, Japan, let's make a deal. 5 years worth of oil starting, January 1st, 2027 at $90 a barrel, or $150 a barrel refined, or $75 a barrel of crude. Sign a $150 billion deal over those 5 years for X amount of barrels. That there's nothing stopping him from doing that. In fact, that would make Trudeau look like an absolute idiot, and that would put pressure on Trump and get him to question these tariffs and show America that Canada has good oil and that we don't need to sell our oil to them. Right now we do. Right now we are screwed. We are locked in on like 60% of our sales or all of our oil, 80% of our oil sales or whatever go to America. Like we are locked in with them. We rely on them so much. And the only way off of them is to sell oil to other countries. I personally believe that Pierre should be jumping the gun on this and taking initiative and making a website, pre-sales, Canadian Oil 2027, CanadianOil.ca or buyCanadianOilNow.ca or whatever the hell website he wants to come out with, and just start negotiations with other countries. What's he got to lose? Nothing. And it just shows that, hey, even somebody who's running for prime minister can lock in $100 billion deals. That's phenomenal, right? That would really, that's that $500 billion locked amount that he could secure right now with a tentative contract. Man, that's a lot of money. A lot of people would say, holy crap, let's vote that guy in, right? That's a lot of money. Fuzzy Socks with the 20 saying Canada's Constitution and Charter of Rights and Freedoms is a joke because of the notwithstanding clause. The convoy proved that they can take away our rights, freeze our money, and lock us up. We need to be a constitutional republic, which I'm guessing would mean that you would want to be something of the 51st state or something similar. I mean, that's the whole point of less government, right? That's the whole purpose of less government, is avoiding what happened during that convoy, right? Or seeing the government freeze people out of their bank accounts and stuff like that. We need firm commitments from governments. We need rules, absolutely, to regulate that so that the government can't do that. Zach G with the 5 saying continents should be borderless. Everyone is in a constant competition with each other. Can't we all work together? No. Absolutely not. Continents should have borders. Countries should be competing against one another. And Canada has a real opportunity in the next 10 years to be a winner. We got a real opportunity to be a winning country. And I would not want people from losing countries to think that they can just come here because we're borderless into this winning country just because it's a better quality of life. No. We have a real opportunity to be a winning country. We're going to tighten up our borders. We're going to make a lot of money. And we're going to be just as free, potentially, hopefully, just as free as America. And we're going to even make some Americans jealous. They're going to be like, man, should we move to Canada? Look what's going on up there. Man, we want that quality of life. The snow, we can handle some snow, whatever. That's what we want. We want to really become a powerhouse. And we have an opportunity to do that. We just need some better leadership. All right, folks, I'm all caught up on supers. That's awesome. I am running out of coffee here. So I'm going to go top up some coffee. And I think that's it for now. I don't see any more updates. With no news of the phone call that took place potentially 30 minutes ago between Trump and Trudeau. So stick around for another video or a follow-up live stream later this evening. Thanks everybody for acknowledging the haircut. I guess it's a bit of a noticeable difference, eh? To me, it just happened. I know what I look like with shorter hair, but maybe some other people don't. So this is what I look like. Not too bad, huh? I got rid of the whole jihadi friggin' beard, and now we're back to looking presentable. Peace and love, everybody. Thanks to my wife for bringing me some coffee during my stream. Thanks to my wife for cutting my hair and trimming my beard for me the other day. And I'll see you guys later today for a follow-up as to what the heck is going on. All right, bye for now. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Scan the cans. Northern Ice.